Hi everyone, welcome back to Kidding Around. My name is Melanie Smith and I think it is fabulous that you are here with me today on another fun Film Friday. Today we will be talking about the movie The Lorax and you will get to make your very own truffula tree. Before we do that though, if you like what you're seeing here and want to follow along with all of Kidding Around's videos, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Below each video, click the thumbs up. And also, if you really like what you're doing here, please share us with your friends. Thank you so much. All right, well, let's move on and talk about Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. My guess is that you may know this book or this movie, or maybe even both. And what you will understand from this book or movie is that it is really important to take care of our environment. We need to make sure that we have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of our plants so they can take care of us as well. It's a lovely cycle that we are just a small part of, and we need to make sure that we are doing our part. The reason that I picked this movie to talk about today is because today is National Plant a Flower Day. So maybe after you make a truffula tree, you can go and plant a flower in honor of this special day and in honor of the Lorax. All right, well, first, though, let's talk about our truffula trees and how we are going to make those. So in order to make them, you will need a few supplies. You will need some 14 gauge wire. You will need some yellow duct tape. You will need a pair of scissors. And you will need 10 to 12 pieces of tissue paper. In addition to this, you will also need either a black pool noodle, or if you can't find a black pool noodle, you can find this pipe insulation at a hardware store and it works just as well. So this one I used a black pool noodle on. This one, the one that we're going to make together, I'm going to use this pipe insulation. Either one works well. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to find this pipe insulation. Pool noodles are kind of a seasonal product. So either way it works. You're going to have a great truffula tree at the end. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to make the trunk of our truffula tree. So to do that, if you have this pipe insulation like I do, you can go ahead and just pull out these two pieces of paper that keep your pool or your trunk apart from each other. They just, when you take those little pieces of paper out, it allows your trunk to be completely round. So I just pulled those out and then you have your round trunk. Then you are going to take some yellow duct tape and you are going to make the stripes for your truffula tree. So that's very simple to do. I'm just going to pull off some duct tape and then I will tape it around my trunk. So I pull out about that much and then I am going to tear it. There's a little bit of a trick to tearing duct tape. You can practice it a little bit. If it doesn't work for you, go ahead and use your scissors. Either one works. All right, and then you just take your yellow tape and you wrap it around your trunk in a strip. Now you can see there that mine did not line up. Where I started was different than where I ended. No big deal. If you look at Dr. Seuss's truffula trees, you will see that there is nothing perfect about the stripes that go around the truffula trunks. So then I am going to do that 3 or 4 more times along my trunk. I should also mention that, oh look, that one didn't quite even meet up. That's okay. If you wanted to add another piece of tape there, that would be totally fine too. It's your truffula tree, it's your art. But anyway, as I was saying, I should mention that either the pool noodles or the pipe insulation are very easily cut. So if you get a piece that's very, very long of this black, the black part of your trunk, and it's very long and you don't want it to be quite so long, no biggie. Just take a pair of scissors and cut it to your size. In fact, my pipe insulation it was about twice this length, so I cut it almost in half, which is nice because now I can make 2 truffula trees. All right, so now I am working on what I think will be the last strip of yellow that I put around my trunk. I'm just going to go ahead and tape it down, and there we go. Now I have my trunk. It couldn't be easier, could it? Okay, so now I am going to take my tissue paper and I am going to make the top of the truffula tree. So in order to do this, I am going to just make a tissue paper flower. So what I do is I am going to take all of my pieces of tissue paper and I'm going to put them together. This is really easy if you buy just a pack of tissue paper. This is actually one pack of tissue paper. They come in packs of 12s. Sometimes it's 10. You can use any pack like that and then you won't even have to line up your tissue paper. You can though, if you want. You just need to make sure that all of your tissue paper are the same sizes, or the same size. I think it would be really fun to actually mix and match some colors in these truffula trees. You could absolutely put a few pieces of pink and a few pieces of orange and a few pieces of blue all together in one truffula tree if you wanted. I'm going to just be making a pink one, but it's up to you, your art, your truffula tree. Have fun. All right, so once you have your 10 or 12 pieces of tissue paper all lined up and all the same size, then you are going to fold them in a fan. So to do that, I take one piece of the tissue paper, one edge of the tissue paper, and I fold it up about an inch into itself. And then I am going to flip it over and fold again about an inch. And you can see that I can use that first fold that I made kind of as a template so that I'm making the same size folds. That doesn't have to be perfect. If some of your folds get a little bigger than others, no big deal. We just want it close. So I am going to continue doing this, making these folds and flipping and making a fold and flipping all the way to the other edge of my tissue paper. And you see right here there was a fold already in the tissue paper. That's just from the package. No problem. I'm just going to pretend that it's not there and continue on my folding. So this takes a little bit of time and obviously a little bit of space. You can see here that I have definitely the amount of space I need. I could probably even use a little bit more. You just kind of go at your own pace and your own speed, and you will, at the end, have this fan of tissue paper that we will make into our flower. Okay, so once you reach this point, you are going to take some of this wire that you have, and you are going to wrap it around the middle of this fan. So this wire is pretty easily workable if you're using 14 gauge wire, and I am actually going to cut quite a long strip. Let's see, this is about a 2-foot strip, and I am now going to use one edge to wrap around the center of my tissue paper fan. Now when you're doing this, you need to be careful because this point can be kind of pokey. But just be aware of where it is. Make sure you've got space around you, as I mentioned, and you will do just fine. So what I am going to do is I slid this wire underneath my tissue paper fan, and I have a couple inches poking out on the other side of it. And then I am going to just fold that couple inches that are sticking out over the middle of my fan, and then I am going to wrap once and wrap twice around the fan with the other end of the wire. So you can see I still have a very long tail of wire, and that's how it's supposed to be. We will take care of this so it's not pokey, but right now we need to be sure that we're taking care to make sure not to accidentally poke yourself in the eye, or catch on, something like a curtain or a tablecloth. So just be aware. All right, so now you have this tissue paper fan that has a couple loops of wire around it. And then what you are going to do, being careful of that end, is you are going to take your scissors and you are going to cut a point here at the end of each piece of the fan, each side. So I am going to just cut down here. I am just cutting a triangle off. Now, this is a lot of paper to cut through at once. So you can ask a grown-up for help, or you can take little pieces at a time. So here, hopefully you can see that I have just a portion of my tissue paper fan, and I am just cutting off small portions. You can do that too. However it works for you, this absolutely does not need to be perfect or exact. You just want a basic point here at the end of your tissue paper. And then I am being careful with my wire, and I am going to cut the other side just the same way. So I will find a good amount of tissue paper, and I will hold it together and cut it. And then I will do that on the other side too. And then I will finish it off. So that way I didn't have to cut so much paper all at once. And there we go. So now you have a tissue paper fan that has points on the end. So what you are going to do is place this end of the wire somewhere safe, and you are going to start unfolding the tissue paper. So be careful with this. Tissue paper is thin and it definitely can tear, but what you want to do is take each layer of your tissue paper fan and fluff it up. So you can see here, this is very easy to do. I'm just being careful, and I am pulling up a piece at a time, and it kind of sticks together at times, so you know, be aware of that. But you are just easily pulling up one layer at a time to make this great flower shape. And you know, when I get about halfway done, then I like to kind of start at the back and then start pulling the tissue paper the other way. So the first time that I started this, I was pulling up towards me. Now I'm kind of pulling these back layers away from me. And it may happen that you tear a piece accidentally. That's okay. This design makes it so that you don't even see those tears. So don't worry about it too much. Be careful, try not to tear, but if it happens, no problem at all. All right, so now I have half of my truffula tree blossoms, branches, foliage made. So I am now going to move to the other side of the tree, and I am going to do the same thing. I am just pulling up that tissue paper and making it into a big hoop. All right, so this takes a little bit of patience, but you will get there. Don't worry about it at all. All right, so I think I'll do one more here pulling towards me, and then I will go to the back side and pull it away. You can see here that they stick. That's no problem. Just take an extra little minute and try to detach them. And you know, if they are really stuck, that's okay. Every once in a while, you can just have a double layer. All right, now I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to take this back layer, and because I flipped it over, I will be pulling it towards me, but I'm pulling it away from the first pieces that I pulled out. All right, there we go. And I just have a couple more to do. And I'm almost there. Oh, I'm so excited. I can see this being made into the top of a tree. All right. Oh, look at that. Okay, we are done. Then you can go ahead and you can fluff it a little bit more if you want to make it poofier, or you can do whatever you want. Once you decide that you like the way that your blossom looks, then you are going to take your tree trunk, and guess what? This long piece of wire, and you are going to wrap the wire around the top of the tree trunk. So here I go. I started at the end, and I am going to pretty tightly wrap this wire all the way up the top of the tree trunk. You don't have to worry too much about this wire being seen because the top of your tree will cover it. And then when you get to here, you just kind of continue making sure that that is as tight as possible. And then you can maneuver your tissue paper blossom around so that it's on top of your tree. Isn't that a fun project? These trees make me so happy every time I see them. I feel like I just can't help but smile when I see them. I have to tell you, when my daughters were 3 and 4 probably, we all made some truffula trees together and we stuck them on a door in our house. They still now, 7, 8, 9 years later, are on that door, and I smile every single time that I see them. I just took some clear packing tape and I made some donuts and I taped the trunk straight to the door, and they have stayed up very well. Maybe that's something that you would like to do in your house. You could stick them to a door or stick them to a wall in your room. Of course, before you do that, you absolutely need to make sure that you have a parent or a grown-up's permission to do so, right? Well, I think it would be a great reminder for you also to remember how important it is to take care of our environment. I'm sure that you are doing your part to take care of the environment, but you know what? A reminder is always a good thing to have. Plus, just seeing these, I'm sure, will make you smile just the way that I smile when I see them. I would love to see pictures of your truffula trees. Please ask a grown-up to take a picture of your trees and put that picture on our Facebook page. Well, I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. We will be doing a test tube Tuesday lesson. I can't wait to do some science with you. But until then, thank you so much for joining me for this one. I hope that you've had as much fun as I have, and I hope you get a chance to see the Lorax movie, either for the first time or again. It's a great one. It's one that you can watch over and over and over. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks so much for kidding around with me. I will see you next time.